Welcome back to Charity Farms. My name is Teresa, but you can call me T. Today we are going to talk about topsoil. The past 3 years have been very, very difficult for me. I've actually grown in-ground gardens. I took the time to dig out this hard clay rock, made the patterns for where I wanted my soil to be, bought the soil, put it in the ground so it could actually have nutrients for my plants. Man, it was difficult. The first year, the water supply didn't work. The second year, I had Bermuda grass growing like crazy. I couldn't stop it. It's as if though my plants would never produce as much as they could. I was always struggling, and I only got maybe a little bit of bites here and there for a garden as big as I had. Made no sense. It was very discouraging. But I always believe that where there's failure, there's also success. I just had to figure out where the success was. Here in Phoenix, Arizona, our ground is not compatible. It's nothing but rock, it's clay, it is dirt. There's a difference between dirt and soil. Dirt has no life. There are no microorganisms living and thriving, and it just doesn't allow anything to grow at all. Soil has microorganisms. That's where you're going to find the bugs, the worms, the nutrients, everything plants love and thrive off of. What I learned living in Texas was that typically whenever you place soil on top of dirt, eventually those soils will actually seep down into the dirt so they can actually start to get the nutrients. And that typically is true, but here in Arizona, nope. 3 years straight, I can hit the bottom of where my dirt was, and it is still dirt. Even after I've watered it, soiled it, gave it lots of nutrients. I usually dump my fish tank water in there, so there's plenty of thriving life there. Just didn't work. So yeah, if you're in Phoenix, Arizona, raised beds are the way to go. Don't even try in-ground. You'll get heartache. But if you find a way to succeed in in-ground for Phoenix, by all means, please let me know. I am all ears. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what my garden looks like. Actually, I'm showing you what my yard looks like as of now. I had video and footage of what my garden looked like when I was planting the thriving plants that I did have, even though it was only just a little bit of a harvest that I received from them. But because I got so discouraged, I deleted the footage. All I can do now is kind of show you the remnants of what I had. I hope you like this video.
What you are looking at is the aftermath of trying to start an in-ground garden in 2021 through 2023. Where the grass cuts off is where my garden ended. I started with a complete blank yard. There was no topsoil at all, it was just dirt. In the year of 2020, I took the time to evaluate where my best sun was, which is over here by these bricks. In this section, to the corner, I had a grapevine, an okra tree, onions, and noodle beans. Underneath the shade fabric, I had Brussels sprouts, radishes, carrots, beets, and rutabagas. In these beds to the left, I grew sweet and hot peppers. On the other side of the yard, I was preparing a section for my watermelons and tomatoes. I wanted my tomatillos and tomatoes to be on the other side of the house, which is what I was preparing the drench for. So what happened? Well, everything was growing fine, but a certain type of grass seed found its way into my yard and started to thrive. The grass seed that found its way into my garden is Bermuda grass, otherwise known as devil's grass. They are not kidding. No matter what I have done, I could not get rid of the grass and it was overtaking my plants. It was extremely discouraging, to say the least. So, I have a different plan for 2024 and I'm taking you with me. I am placing my garden in off-the-ground raised beds, and the few beds that will be on the ground will be over a great deal of weed fabric. My hope in doing this is that I can enjoy my garden and receive a bountiful harvest instead of receiving headaches and discouragement.
So here's the plan. I'm going to go ahead and put my raised beds in there, but the other thing I noticed during last year's heat wave, we had plants that burned. I can actually show you a rosemary plant that I have up front that actually has burnt leaves on it just because it was so hot last summer. I gotta think about how my plants are gonna stay hydrated even during a very intense heat wave. So my idea is to get the beds, get some plastic underneath it, get some river rock. The river rock will allow the water to stay there. I'm going to have a drain pipe that goes through so that it won't get root rot and the water will drain if it needs to. And then weed fabric and then soil. And I'll walk you along with this. So there was a lot of things that I had to calculate on how many cubic yards do I need for soil, how many cubic yards do I need for river rock. It was just a bunch. I employed my husband to use his wonderful mathematical skills, and that's how we came up with 3 cubic yards for the yard for all the soil that I need. For the rocks, I believe it was 2 cubic yards that I needed for that. So the first thing I need to do is go online and find out where I can get topsoil delivered to me through a truckload, because that's a lot of soil. Everywhere I looked, it was basically stating that I needed to have at least 5 cubic yards delivered to me. Okay, not ideal to have 2 more cubic yards more than what I anticipated, but I'd rather have more than not enough. And I can go through soil very quickly. So I figured, okay, we'll do this. I did find that Home Depot delivered the 5 cubic yards of soil to me, and that was ideal because now I can use Home Depot to also deliver the rocks and a few other things that I need. So this would actually make it where it's just a one-shot buy for these huge deliveries that I need to be sent to me. So let me show you how I did it. I first selected the topsoil and placed my quantity as 1, as each load is 5 cubic yards. Then I searched for a wheel cart. I need a cart with at least 2 wheels and will be easier to pull than push, with 12 tons of soil that will be coming my way. The other item I needed was 5-gallon buckets, because I have an idea for how I want to grow my tomatoes on the side of the house without using a raised bed, which will give the plant more trellis room to grow. I found the river rocks that I need, but they only sold in half cubic feet bags, and I need 2 cubic yards. This breaks down roughly to 40 cubic feet, so I need to double the quantity to equal the amount that I needed, which is 80 bags. I also need a chain link fence, which is 1 3/8 in diameter and about 10 feet long. I will be using these poles to help me trellis my vining plants. About 2 days before receiving my soil, I received a text to verify my address and instructions on receiving. They stated that I needed a tarp for the driver to know where to place the soil, but what they neglected to tell me is that the driver prefers multiple tarps to cover your driveway to ensure that you will not lose any soil in the grooves. I let my driver know that I ordered more than I needed, so it was more than okay if it spilled off on the tarp. This is what 5 cubic yards of soil looks like. This is where we are placing the soil while we work on getting everything completed, which I will bring you along.
This is what it looks like with 5 cubic yards of soil. That was a workout. Next week, I am bringing you along as I prepare the area that I need to place my wheat fabric on.
That was a lot of soil. A lot of soil. It didn't come until later in the afternoon, and I wanted to make sure that the soil was secure in my backyard because this is a dog friendly neighborhood, which means people walk their dogs all the time. I really didn't need to have a dog go sniff in my driveway the new soil that's there and cause my dogs to have aneurysms and heart attacks because there's another animal on their property. So, in the heat, my husband and my brother in law buckled up and they helped me move my soil from the driveway into the backyard on the other side of the house. It was a lot of work and we got really dirty. But now I know it's secure and I have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And until next time, I bless you. Bye.